Hello everybody. This is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Happy Friday to you. So today I am going to work on a graduation arrangement. This will be an arrangement that sits in front of the podium at graduation. And I thought that I would do that with you guys today. If you do not see that little live button up there in the corner, it means you're watching replay. Please put #replay in the comments. So we are going to work on an arrangement, and I am building it a little differently than I build most arrangements. It needs to be low. It needs to actually sit, the arrangement is supposed to sit flat on the floor in front of the podium. And so I'm building it in, this has actually got a little plastic dish up underneath all the floral foam, and then I put it on a piece of wood. I wanted it to easily be carried, but it's fairly heavy. It's actually got 6 blocks of fresh floral foam, so it's really heavy. It's all been soaked. You always soak your floral foam first, and so it has all been soaked. And then what I did, it's kind of hard to see, but I took, this has chicken wire that's covering the foam. And what that's doing is it's just helping give us support. It gives a grid, so it's holding that foam in place. Anytime you're doing a very large installation and you stick lots and lots of stems into that foam, sometimes it's hard for that foam to support all those flowers. And so I wanted to make sure that the foam didn't fall apart. We don't need to get it over there, get it in transit, and it fall apart. That would be terrible. So that's what we're working on today. When you come on, please tell me hello. Tell me how you're doing today. Tell me where you're from. Miss Victoria's here with me. So y'all talk to me, ask me questions as we go. So what I did here is I stacked 2 pieces of foam on top of each other. So this tray holds 3 pieces of foam, and then I added 3 on top, and I taped them in place. And I really taped them because I don't want it to fall apart. I will say, and I've said it before, your mechanics are going to be your most important part of your arrangement. And that's the part nobody sees, but that's the part that holds the arrangement together. So it's always important that you make sure your mechanics are going to hold together. So I taped it actually, so each, you'll see 2 pieces of tape. I taped each piece of foam with 2 strips of tape, and I went around and around and around the entire piece. We're going to start out with some greenery. So I'm going to start out with some leather leaf fern.
You have several hellos.
Hello guys, hello.
Miss Mary Lou says, are you on early today?
We are, Mary Lou, and the reason we're early, I actually said this morning, so I apologize that I didn't put an announcement. We're early because this arrangement needs to be delivered by about 1:30, and so I thought I wanted you guys to see us put it together, so that's why we decided to come on early. So I'm going to start with some leather leaf.
Miss Glenda Vickers says hello from North Carolina in a house full of grand boys. If I can hear you.
All those stinky boys, huh? How much fun.
Miss Angie Ham says hello. It's a great day for you. Congrats on Micah's graduation.
Thank you. We are excited. I don't know how excited he is, but we're excited. Victoria's been so funny. She's so sad. Micah's graduating. So I'm just taking my leather leaf, and I'm cutting that stem at an angle, and I am just tucking it into this foam. You want it to kind of hang down a little bit. We're going to cut. It's almost like you're greening out an arrangement that goes on top of a casket. You want it to kind of hang down a little bit because we don't want the container itself to show, and we want it to look like it's sitting directly on the floor in front of that podium.
Miss Glenda says it is fun and I love them, but they wear me out.
I bet they do. I bet they do. I teach Sunday school, and I teach 4 and 5 year olds. And man, yeah, they will give you a run for your money.
Miss Kathy Simpson says, I am so blessed to catch you live today.
Hello, Miss Kathy. We're a little early. I apologize for that.
Miss Karen Austin says, catching you live makes me happy. And Miss Eva says, congratulations on your graduate. New roads ahead.
Yes, yes. He's excited to get started. He's ready to go play ball.
Miss Mary Lou says, congrats to Micah. Are you going to have a party for him?
Well, we've already had like a little family party, but we're going to gather this evening. We've got several people coming to go to graduation, and so I have cooked barbecue and baked beans, and we're going to just have kind of a barbecue before we go. Graduation starts at 7, so I thought we would have something to eat before then. It's too hard to take several people out to dinner and get out in a timely manner, so I just thought that it's so much easier just to do it at home.
Thank you, Miss Angie. I hope you have a great day too. Miss Shelley's excited she got us live 2 days in a row. She says we brighten her day so much.
I'm so glad you're here, Shelley. Thank you for being here.
Mike Shore says I like the new backdrop.
Thanks. This was Victoria's choice. Victoria chose this one.
Miss Karen Duplessis, I believe. She says it's the first time she gets to see us live. She loves your designs.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here.
And Miss Dawn Miller wants us to tell Micah Thomas congratulations.
We sure will. Thank you, Miss Dawn. Thank you. All right. I will turn this around, but what I'll probably do is I will pull this table out and green out the backside at the end. But always remember, anytime you're making an arrangement as such, you are going to want to green out the back. It's very important that you add greenery to the backside to finish it off. You don't want it to you don't want it not to be pretty on the backside, okay? And when I say pretty, you just want to cover up those mechanics. Nobody wants to see green foam. So be sure to add your greenery on the backside.
Oh, thank you, Tracy. It's fun to have different backdrops. You can switch them out. But Monty said she wanted something
bright and clean.
Yeah.
We're ready for something new. And I tell you how we normally do it is the backdrops that we have are all still hanging behind this one. So you never have to worry about them getting wrinkled and all those things. We can just pull this one down and do the bricks, or pull it down and have the brown backdrop. So it's just kind of nice to have different types of backdrops. Okay, so this is spiral eucalyptus. I thought we would use a little bit of it in this arrangement.
Kristen Weaver wants to know what you're making today.
Hello, lady, how are you? We are making the arrangement for graduation. So this is the arrangement that'll be right in front of the podium on the stage.
Miss Anna Myers says hello from Iowa. She asks that we pray. There were 2 missionaries in Haiti that were killed.
Oh, goodness.
And then she also says there's more storms predicted shortly, and just ask that we pray.
Yes, ma'am, we sure will.
We have more congratulations for Micah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Miss Mary Lou wants to know what college he'll be attending, and does he have a major?
So we don't have a major yet. He is going to go to junior college. He's going to go to a little college in North Mississippi called Itawamba Community College, and he's going to play soccer.
Tracy says, love to hear your tips, especially around hiding the mechanics. Very useful.
Yes, very important. Very, very important. You always want to make sure they're hidden. It's kind of like your slip. We don't want it to be seen, right? If anybody even wears a slip anymore. They probably don't, huh, Victoria?
Well, every now and then. Maybe, perhaps.
They should.
Kristen Weaver says, oh, that's fancy. We are putting finishing touches on cookies and that graduation cap.
Yay, yay, yay. I'm so excited to see. So I'm just taking this greenery and I am just cutting those stems. Whoop, whoop. I'm trying to shoot you, Victoria. Sometimes I have to use snips to cut the greenery because it's a little woody. The stem is woody, but this is pretty easy to cut. Look at that one popped.
John Miller asks, did they call you to make this arrangement, or did you tell them you would?
No, they called me. Yes, ma'am. We have done this graduation arrangement, gosh, for years. But they just called this week. I wasn't sure if they were going to order it, and they just called this week. So we're going to make it work. We're going to do whites and yellows with a little bit of veils.
Miss Kathy, it is a piece to go under the podium for graduation this evening.
All right, there is our spiral eucalyptus. I've got a little bit of greenery out of the yard. So this is Elaeagnus. So I have a little bit of Elaeagnus greenery. I thought we would kind of.
Kyle Dunbar says hello.
Hello, Kyle. How are you, friend?
My Little Bee Flowers and More says, hi, Monty. Can you say hello to my mom and my mother-in-law that are visiting me from Panama? Their names are... Now, tell me if I mispronounced this. I'm so sorry. They sound so pretty. Evalia and Eva.
Evalia and Eva. Hello, hello. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, guys.
That is such a pretty name.
Those are beautiful names. All right, just a little bit of Elaeagnus because it kind of gives us a little bit of a drip, a little bit of color.
Miss Janice Baxalone says, hello, beautiful ladies. Blessings on Micah. Love and blessings on each of you. She says she wears a slip. She says she's doing well, very fatigued most of the day, but praise God anyway.
Oh, Miss Janice, I got my thank you note. Thank you for that sweet note. And Mama got her note. Thank you for sending that. You are so sweet.
Rhea Norman says she remembers when her son Harris graduated from university. He went on stage and someone shouted his nickname and his friends all cheered. He said he thought it was funny until she told him that it was her who had shouted it, and he said he was like, not cool.
Not cool, Mom. That was not cool. Well, my sister's child graduated. Robbie's oldest child graduated, gosh, what year? 2 years ago? Is that right? Anyway, now Robbie, it's a very small school that he graduated from. Maybe there were 30 people who were graduating. And they called his name. His last name is Leopard, so he was kind of in the middle of the pack. And when they handed him his diploma, he did a backflip on the stage. I thought if the floor would have opened up, Robbie would have climbed in it. Robbie would have jumped in the hole if the floor had opened up. She was so embarrassed.
But it was crazy too, because they were like completely silent.
It was
they
silent.
Said no clapping, no shouting, no nothing. And then all of a sudden he does a backflip.
Yeah, I thought Robbie would die. And so Robbie, everybody has told Micah, don't flip. He can't do a backflip, so we never have any worries with that child. Yeah, Isaac did a backflip. Yeah, it was terrible. Robbie thought it was anyway. I thought it was funny, but Robbie thought it was terrible. Okay, we're going to start out with some Bells of Ireland for some line.
Miss Janice says, I really do love you all so much.
Thank you, Miss Janice. We love you.
Claire Ainsworth says, wow, actually caught you live. Hope your mama is well and responding well to treatment, Mommy.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Thank you. I actually talked to her this morning, and she's doing great. She went and got a haircut. She's feeling really good this week. She's doing wonderful. She amazes me.
Chris Fry asks, do you ever use the backside of the Iliagnus? Super cool to have two colors on the same leaf.
I have never done that, but I think that's a great idea.
Cam says, I have my niece watching today. Chloe says hi.
Hello, Chloe. Welcome, welcome.
We have more congratulations for Micah.
Thank you, guys.
Very
Thank you.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, this is a wonderful container. This is so much better than how I did it last year. Last year I did it in a container and it wanted to be front heavy. You always have to be careful with arrangements like this, because if you get it in a container where everything's facing forward, it wants to tip. It needs some weight. And so it's a wonderful thing that I put, number one, enough foam to give it weight, and it's heavy. It's going to take two of us to deliver. But yeah, it's going to work perfect. Perfect. And I need to find out where those trays came from. It's actually a 3-block tray that one of my sweet friends, she donated, she brought me a large arrangement with pompous plumes that she wasn't using anymore, and it had a tray that held 3 blocks of foam. So I'll have to find out where that came from, because this is wonderful. Okay, so those are our bales of Ireland. Next we're going to come in with, we've got yellow buttons. So our school colors are black and gold. So we've got yellow buttons and some Solidago. So Micah Thomas is graduating from the same high school that I graduated from many moons ago.
And Owen graduated.
Graduated from the same school. Many moons ago I graduated.
Nicole Doss has a question.
Yes.
She asks, can you use, is it Hosta or Hosta?
Hosta. I have never used Hosta before. So I am not sure. I have never used it. I don't know if it holds in water. But if you have hosta in your yard, go and cut a few of the leaves and see if it will hold in water. If it'll hold in water, that's perfect. All you have to do is cut it, stick it in water on your table, see how it holds, and if it holds up, cut it.
They're saying the greenery is gorgeous.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Kristen says it's such a great shape. All the greens.
Thank you. So I'm just taking some of the foliage off these buttons.
Wayne Barrymore says, I love your work, Monty.
Why, thank you so much. So glad you're here. So I'm taking and cutting these in half. You always kind of have to be careful when using a knife, because you might cut half the blooms out. But I just took and cut that stem in half.
Miss Janice says, yes, hosta holds in water. They had them when they lived on the farm, and she used them a lot for cut flowers.
Really? Yeah, I've just never had it in my yard, and so I've never used it. But thank you, Miss Janice. Thank you.
Chris says, someone said that you can use a hosta leaf like aspidistra leaves, and it can hide your mechanics in a glass vase.
Fantastic. I know that it's so pretty when you do it that way. Okay, so there's our buttons. Next, let's come in with some hydrangeas. I'm going to run get some quick dip really quickly, because Victoria so kindly dipped her whole hair in.
She has to go get more because I accidentally spilled it all over myself earlier.
Okay, I got some quick dip for our hydrangeas. I'm going to take my hydrangea, I'm going to pull off all that foliage. Cut that stem at an angle and dip it in quick dip. Quick dip is a hydrating solution that helps to keep these hydrangeas hydrated.
Miss Dawn wants to know if you'll be using ribbon in
No,
this
ma'am.
arrangement.
Not in this arrangement, no ma'am.
Glenda Vickers says that they used hosta leaves around the punch bowl at a birthday party at church last Sunday, and they held up great for the 4 hours.
Ooh, that's wonderful to know. So they hold up really well even out of water.
Cam has a question. The wild fern on the side of the roads, is that okay to use for arrangements? He says it looks so beautiful and he has some growing in his yard.
Most often wild fern will not hold, but just like I said with the hosta, go and cut it, put it in water and see if it will. Like I've always thought that if you watched my video yesterday, I used some flowers that we cut, that we went and cut, Robbie and I went and cut yesterday, and it had Queen Anne's lace, it had some type of aster that was growing, which I didn't recognize, but it's pretty, and it had, we call them black-eyed Susans here, and I've always never had really good luck with black-eyed Susans holding after you cut them, and I cut them early in the day. It's always important if you can to harvest early in the day because they've had their best hydration overnight. They didn't have to work hard and they were able to rehydrate overnight, the flowers. And so if you'll cut them early in the morning, they haven't had to tax themselves all day trying to stay pretty. So my black-eyed Susans held beautifully. Like I even put them in the cooler, held beautifully. So I think it's when you cut it, but go cut it and see. I have tried to cut it before, but I probably did not cut it in the right time. That's Jason. I probably didn't cut it at the right time is the reason. So just play with it. It's one of those things you always have to practice and see. Hey, Callie. Would you mind calling Jason real quick?
Melissa Flores says hello.
Hey, Melissa. How are you, my sweet friend? I have missed you.
Oh, Miss Rhea. I guess I do feel more hydrated after I got dipped in Quick Dip.
Did you? Are you more?
That's what she was asking.
Are you feeling more hydrated? Well, your hair's looking more hydrated.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
My clothes too. They definitely look more. I got a little. Gwen Banks asks if you want to make a standing spray using artificial flowers, can you use the cage you use with the live but use styrofoam blocks instead?
You don't need it. You don't need that cage. The cage really is holding that floral foam, that fresh floral foam together. It's not as sturdy as artificial floral foam is, so you don't need the cage. Don't waste it. Save that for a fresh arrangement. Just use hard styrofoam and it works perfect.
So how would you hook that onto a cage?
So most often, hook the styrofoam onto the stand.
Yeah.
The stand often, our stands have hooks on them, and so I just take that foam and hook it right into onto that hook. And then you can use one of two things. We use something called a Dixon pin, but it's almost like a staple that you can pick up at your Lowe's store or some kind of building supply store where it's a little U-hook. You can glue that and hook it onto the stand, or you can just take waterproof tape and tape it onto the stand. Either way works really well.
Melissa says, crazy busy, we need to catch up.
Yes, I have missed you.
Miss Gloria says, beautiful, we have a grandson that is graduating this year. He is such a good kid. We are very proud of him.
Oh, I know you are. Congratulations to him. Okay, there's our hydrangeas. Next we're going to come in with, I guess, sunflowers, do you think?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, sunflowers are going to give us our dark centers. For our black and gold,
Miss Gwen says thank you for answering your question.
Of course. Thank you for asking. I'm so happy to answer any questions. Now, I can't always say I know all the answers, but we will sure try.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just taking each of these stems and I'm cutting them at an angle and tucking them right into that floral foam. Is that Owen back there just talking? Oh!
In the tub, I think.
He's so funny.
Miss Cheryl asks if you wire the heads of the sunflowers.
You can wire the heads of the sunflowers. These really didn't need it. But if they're not going to act right, and often they don't, flowers don't always mind us. So sometimes they have a little bit of a bend, but most often I just try to go with that bend. But sometimes they don't want to do exactly what you say. Now the only problem when wiring a hydrangea is sunflower. What am I saying? I'm looking at a hydrangea. I said that this morning. I was looking at something and I was talking and it just came out what I was looking at. Sometimes they have pretty stiff stems and their heads are kind of heavy. So when you go to wire it, you want to use a really sturdy wire to wire them. But yeah, you absolutely can wire them. You can wire anything.
Cam says, thank you for your help. This arrangement sure gives off celebratory feels.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I just don't want it to look like a casket piece. But I think we've got enough height that it's not.
I think it's pretty. That greenery makes me happy.
Does it? Oh, I'm glad. I was a little concerned I wasn't going to get big enough. But I think we got it big enough, don't you? Up here, yeah, right there in that empty spot. Okay, see how this guy has a mind of his own? But what I'm really going to do is just kind of play with how I'm just going to let him do his thing and work with him instead of trying to force him to do what I want him to do.
Rhea says it's a real showstopper.
Thank you, Rhea. Thank you, thank you.
Miss Cheryl says, thanks, Monty. It's beautiful.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Okay, next we're going to come in with some roses, yellow roses. Callie has already wired them. But did we have someone ask a question about wires? Didn't we have someone ask a question?
They were asking on YouTube if it matters how close each little...
Okay. So when we wire a rose, it's kind of hard to see in this video, it does not matter. So their question was, how tightly do you need to wind that wire around that rose? Honestly, it doesn't matter its tightness. It just matters that it stays in place. So if you look right down here, Callie kind of did a little hook to catch it. And it's just kind of bent up so that it would stay on the rose. It doesn't really matter how many times you wind it around. I just do it quickly. So it doesn't, that's not what's important. It's just important that it's wired. So what we do is we take that wire, and you can see right here, we just kind of press it right into that calyx. It doesn't go very far, so it's not gonna hurt the rose itself. And then we just kind of wrap it right around the stem. But the tightness around the stem it's not important. It's just that it stays.
Cam says, I love that rose. I bet it smells amazing.
Isn't that a pretty rose? It is a pretty rose.
Yes, that's what she was asking.
Is that what she was asking? Yeah. Now, I did use, for foam, I used a lot of foam this year. But I found last year, I was afraid it was going to fall apart. It made me really, really nervous. And honestly, so nervous that I almost took it apart and tried it again. So this year I was determined it was not falling apart. Now the last couple of years, they have done graduation. They did graduation at our football stadium because they were redoing our Coliseum here at Mississippi State. So we had graduation at the football stadium. But this year is the first year in probably 3 years that we've done it in the Coliseum. And it's actually the same Coliseum that I graduated from 30 years ago.
Melissa says, I've done that. Dottie says, this is so beautiful. I love the yellows.
Thank you, thank you. Me too. It's my favorite.
Miss Janice Sloan says, I'm making faux flower arrangements this afternoon for the cemetery.
Oh, wonderful.
And Cam says, I'm getting so excited to meet y'all in June or July. It's like I'm meeting family. And then he says, well, we are family in Christ.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And just know, Cam, that we will be on vacation the last week in June. The flower shop will be closed the last week in June. We're going to the beach. And Miss Dawn Miller, you'll get a kick out of we're taking Todd with us.
Mm-hmm.
Todd is going to the beach. The kitty cats have to stay home.
Yeah. I don't know if they would do too well.
Yeah, I don't know that they would it would just be a big litter box. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks, that would not be nice. All right, there's our yellow roses. I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna look really quickly. Okay, next we have some yellow spray roses. I can see like some emptiness in some of these spots. I cut my finger.
Cam says Osa is going to be unpaid security.
Yeah, right. He'll be well paid. Robbie will feed him. He is so hungry all the time. Bless that cat.
Miss Jane says, so pretty. The school our girls graduated from was orange and royal blue.
Ooh.
I mean, that sounds like us.
Yeah, that's Starkville Academy. Our we've got one of our schools is orange, and it's so pretty. The colors are really pretty together. So our high school is the Yellow Jackets.
Dawn she says, we'll have to take pictures of Mr. Todd at the beach.
I know. Yes, we'll have lots of pictures. Lots of pictures with his rotten self. Jason just said he couldn't leave him. He had to go on vacation, so we had to go somewhere that he could go. Jason is so funny about that dog. Yeah.
Miss Violet says, my school are gold and black, and we are the Tigers.
Ooh, yep. Very tiger colors.
Oh, Miss Cheryl's school colors were red and white.
Okay, so next we're coming in with Solidago, and we're going to call it pretty.
Do you need more salt?
Nope. Oh, we got it over here. You thought this was the only two pieces?
Like,
you're like, that is not enough. Those 2 pieces of Solidago. It was hiding. You know what would really be pretty, though? Is a couple of those large white lilies. Sticking that Solidago all up in my face. Like, what are you doing, slick girl?
Miss Deborah Simmons says hello.
Hello, Deborah. Welcome.
Melissa Flores says white lilies would be so pretty.
Wouldn't they be so pretty?
Kyle says his school colors were red, black, and white, and they were the Broncos.
The Broncos. Kyle, where are you? Where is he from?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
I believe it's Oklahoma.
No, wasn't it Georgia? Or is it Oklahoma?
I think it is Oklahoma. Was it Oklahoma City? I think it's Oklahoma. Ooh, I gotta sneeze.
Dunbar is Oklahoma. Yes, you're right. I'm thinking Cam is from Georgia. Getting all my states.
Yep.
My people mixed up.
Kyle says Oklahoma City.
Yes, and that's where Melissa Flores is too. Close to it, right?
Rhea Norman says, I love the very dark ranunculus you had. They would have worked well in this
Weren't
arrangement.
they amazing? It was fun to work with ranunculus this week. I tell you, Victoria was like, this is my favorite week so far.
Yes.
This is my favorite flower week.
I've had so much fun. Melissa, she says, very close in Yukon.
Yes, you were pretty close. I knew that it was right in there somewhere.
Agnes wants to know, how do you make sure it does not flip over?
Okay, so it shouldn't. It's really, really, really heavy. So it's not as as front forward. Now you can see how that my fingers are up underneath it in the back. I do have about a hand's width of wood on each end. So it's a tray. It's a, actually I might be able to turn it around. It's a plastic tray that holds 3 blocks of fresh floral foam, and it's about this much of that wooden piece on each end. So my thoughts are, I may make sandbags just to put on both of those ends for my sanity. Because I don't think it's going to go forward, but it's always, you always worry about the stability or the levelness of of the floor. Because if it's wanting to lean at all, it's going to want to come forward. So I'm going to make some sandbags to put on each end. I'm going to see if we have any open lilies real quick and see about putting maybe just a few. Okay, so I have a question. Do you like this time for us to go live? If this summer we went live a little earlier in the day, some days, or do you prefer later in the afternoon? That is a pretty lily. That would sure show up. If I can find where I put my knife. Yes, there it is.
Sandy Johnson says, I watch you frequently, but I think this is the best arrangement I've seen. Of course, probably because I love sunflowers.
Thank you, friend. So glad you like it. Anytime you're working with lilies, though, if you can put those in last, that's probably the best time to put them in. Oh, that's showy. Okay, let me go see if I can find some more open ones. You always just have to be really, really, really careful with a lily. It bruises pretty easily, and it tears really easily. So you don't want to, and they break. So you don't want to manipulate them too much.
Christian Weaver says, those lilies are so showy.
Ooh, aren't they? They say, hello, friend. All right. Do wish we had, well, we have this stem, but it's a tight lily. We may tuck him up here. Do you think?
Jody asks, where would you like me to share pictures? I'd be happy to share the joy.
Ooh, you can actually share them right under your post, or you can send them to me. Send them to me on Messenger, and if you don't mind, I will share them with everybody in a post.
Maria says, Monty, you are your mama's favorite flower.
Oh, goodness. I don't know. Don't tell my sister. Or my brother. They might get jealous. There we go. I'm going to just go ahead and pull them. Oh, so got him a spot over here right beside us. All right, and there is our finished arrangement. Now you've got to know, when you make an arrangement like this, it's not going to be a long-lasting arrangement. It does not have a lot of reservoir to hold water. So you always have to be careful with the quickness that you make something. And what I mean by that when I say the quickness, like you need to make it the day it's going to be delivered and used versus making it several days in advance, because it does not have enough water source. Now I can take a pitcher of water and pour water over that floral foam, and it will absorb the water and hold water, but you need to have it, for this arrangement, it needs to be dry. I mean, it doesn't need to get there and be leaking everywhere. And so anytime you're making an arrangement like this that's for this type of event, you're going to want to make it the day of usually. But there we go. There is our finished arrangement to go in front of the podium at graduation. And I'll be sure to take pictures when we get it there, and then I'll take pictures of my boy walking across, and you'll see the pretty flowers.
Jody Rand says she would love to. The farm name is Thistledew Flowers.
So cute! Yes, I love it, and I'll be happy to share those for you if you don't mind.
Miss Ruth wants to know, how much is this piece?
It was $300. This is a $300 arrangement.
Oh, Miss Vicky, yes, I am going to the beach with him.
Yes,
And-
she has to go to the beach.
And we're going to, which beach are we going to? To Destin, right?
Yes, we're going to Destin. You're right. It is Destin.
I don't know.
I think I said Orange Beach one time, but it is Destin. Isn't it Destin, Owen? He's like, he doesn't know. He's just going. What do you mean? Ask him such a question. I think it is Destin. I'm pretty sure it's Destin. We just go. We ride with Jason. Jason takes us. We get in the car. We just go with him. He plans the trips.
Everyone's saying it's beautiful.
All right, guys, thank y'all so much for being here with us today. Thank you for coming and talking to us and enjoying time with us. We love you so much, and we couldn't do what we do without you. If you have any questions about how we do things here at the Flower Shop, you know you can always ask. You can ask right here in the comments, or you can send us a message over on Messenger, and we are happy to answer any questions you might have. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up or a heart. The more you interact with us and talk to us and give us hearts and all the things, the more we can grow on this platform. So we would love that. If you would like to sprinkle this video or share it, we would love that too. Guys, y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you real soon.